Hello, everyone. So I just clicked on this article and I just scrolled through it a bit, and I was like, "Wait, is this an interview of Tom Sharp? OMG!" So let's just go through this article from Giant Freaking Robots. Exclusive: Pendragon's Merlin reveals the secrets of his new King Arthur series. So yeah, we have Tom Sharp over here, the iconic image. I'm sure you've seen him scream a lot in multiple promotions. It should go without saying that a show called The Pendragon Cycle Rise of the Merlin might just be about the famous wizard, but this show is not about the wizened old man we all know from the King Arthur stories. Rise of the Merlin tells a different origin story, the story of a young man who will someday become Camelot's advisor. So, okay, newcomer Tom Sharp plays the title role, and I got to ask this incredible actor some questions about the show for Giant Freaking Robots. I've previously reviewed and commented about the show's themes and have interviewed other actors from the show. Okay, I may have to check those out. Tom Sharp's early career. So I did check out Tom Sharp's IMDb page a couple of times, and uh, technically this is his major role. And he has done some smaller stuff in the past, like 2017 and stuff. And yeah, when I think of 2017, it's like, whoa, you know, that year was so strange. Now I miss it. Even though when I was going through that year, I felt so horrible. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to know about Tom was sorry, oh my gosh, I'm reading way too quickly. The first thing I wanted to know about was Tom's experience leading up to his casting as Merlin. What got him into acting? Like most actors, he admits, I grew up obsessively watching films as a boy. I'd happily burn through a load of VHS tapes. Hey, I have VHS tapes as well. What's going on today? I'm mispronouncing words, cutting over my words. What's going on? And a trip to the cinema was special. I've only been to the cinema around like I think 9 times since 2015. I know it may be a small number to many out there, but for me it's a luxury experience. Really, it's something I don't get a chance to do all the time, and it's a bit pricey as well. But it was more than just watching movies from the Merlin lead. My family introduced me to a wide variety of genres and classics at a young age, which sparked my imagination. I consider it my unofficial training. Hope and determination were important elements in Tom's career too. Acting was considered a pipe dream where I grew up, he explained, and with no industry connections. It wasn't until my 20s that I considered taking the leap independently. I began leading short films on stage in small indie theater. Wow, that's fantastic. Whilst trying to get my foot in the door for years, a lot of trial and error, taking risks and relying on my instincts, becoming Merlin. For Tom, the role of Merlin was a big leap, since he was a relatively unknown. I applied independently to the series without an agent via a self tape, he told me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I heard Dallas Sonnier speak about this, and I was like, whoa, this dude was really lucky because obviously they had casting agents, so anyone could have gotten this role, but Merlin, I mean, sorry, Tom Sharp got this role. That's fantastic. And the suspense went on. After a few weeks of sending off endless Merlin tapes, production flew me to Budapest last minute for a final audition in person. Wow. I've never seen a live audition. I've seen a bit of clips of other people's auditions, but I've never really understood so much of it, besides like reading the scripts and acting out the role and stuff. But uh, obviously, okay, technically that is auditioning. Oh my gosh. But I'm sure there's a bit more to it than just reading the scripts, obviously, and just acting out the part. You got to be really focused on your character. So, anyways, boy, before I make a clown of myself, let's keep reading. I had a pleasant dinner afterwards with the producers and directors. So, I heard also that, what's her name? Uh, I'm forgetting the name. The chick who plays, I'm forgetting the name as well. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I have to think. So difficult. Why is it so difficult to remember names now? Um, what was the name? Um, okay, the chick who plays Morgan in this series. She did an interview years ago. It's available on YouTube. You can check it out. And she said she had dinner with the producers as well, and that was lovely. So it's good that they started this, they ignited this lovely relationship with the producers and directors, to get to know them a bit more, to get, I guess, to know the project. But they didn't give me any answer when I was there, so I assumed the worst. It's always good to assume the worst. um, Expecting a no after I flew back. However, when I returned home, I received a call from the producer, Dallas Sonnier, Bone Tomahawk, and Dragged Across Concrete. That name does sound interesting. Dragged Across Concrete. Do you want to go to the cinemas? Yeah, I want to watch Dragged Across Concrete. Dang, you think of something scary, right? Okay, telling me I got the job and I'm needed back in Budapest ASAP for what he described will be my most challenging 5 months ever, and he wasn't wrong. So I remember the first Pendragon Cycle production diaries. It was so amazing, and I was just completely blown away by everything. And apparently, while they were prepping up stuff in Budapest, Jeremy Boring decided to have a detour and film Lady Ballers. Wow. Um, Naturally, the actor was thrilled to land not just his first lead role, but the lead often on. I have to read slowly, but the lead on an ambitious, well-produced project. Landing a production of this size for the first time, let alone the lead, was wild. He told me when I applied online to the open casting call. I didn't know the scale of it, and the script was kept under wraps, obviously. Once I knew it was Merlin, and it dawned on me what this was, I dove in. An opportunity of this size for a lot of actors I know is rare, and my mantra has always been when something like this finally comes along, that I'd go all out and not leave saying if only. Since movies were such a family affair, guys, oh boy, I'm letting you guys down by reading like this. Sorry. Sorry, I used to be a really good reader. Sometimes I'm just way too fast. There was plenty of joy to go around for the budding actor. My parents' reaction to this, to when I landed, the role was the best and meant the world. I gave a thumbs up to my mom and dad, who both broke down with joy. My favorite memory. Oh, how sweet. That's really sweet. I never really thought about what the main cast family would think of when it comes to, them getting this role. Um, Obviously, the Pendragon cycle is still technically smaller compared to other projects out there, but still the scale of it was humongous. Okay, Tom Sharp's approach to playing Merlin. Once he got on set, he had to get to know the character. What did he think of the vulnerable magician in his younger years? I really like how young Merlin grows from a naive, rebellious, and curious lad to a more wild and deeply rooted figure after living with the hill folk, he said of Merlin's journey. They taught him to see and heal, appreciate the world around him, and that the rhyme of life flows through him. It continued, Merlin's a deeply flawed character, but has so many admirable qualities. For instance, he could easily rule as a high king himself, unopposed in a tyrannical position with his power and immortality. Yet he doesn't want it and fears losing control and hurting the ones he cares for. Constantly doubting his destiny, he humbly says, perhaps they saw through me to another, obviously foreshadowing Arthur, Arthurian legend. I really admire him. Okay, the young Merlin wasn't all wisdom and counsel. He had a lot of extremes, from stoic to furious, to deeply in love to deeply grieving. What was it like for Tom to be playing all of those emotions? Episode 6, Ganietta, was my most important episode and has a special place in my heart, he said, of the emotional story of Merlin's romance with his bride. It was a full hero's journey. Merlin's core story as he goes through every event and emotion. It's beautifully tragic. When reading the script, I knew this was the tentpole of the series. It was vital I land this episode, else the character and show would fall apart. Playing opposite Brett Cooper, Ganietta, Steve Varnum, Castanen, and Lynn Hunter, okay, I can't pronounce that, I'm sorry, was an absolute joy, which made the job a lot easier. I kept an eye peeled in the film schedule every time a scene from Six would pop up. It was very challenging, very rewarding, and I was very relieved how it all turned out. The mystery of Merlin's yellow eyes. So, when I watched the behind the scenes of this, they had to go through all of Merlin's scenes and use VFX effects. Okay, so that was obviously challenging because there's a lot of Merlin clips. I mean, it's about Merlin, so obviously you have to track Merlin's eyes, and obviously with modern technology, it's so much easier. And thank God for modern technology, so stuff like this is possible. But they did try out lenses, but he was having a reaction to it. I often wondered about Merlin's distinctive yellow eyes. In some scenes, they were very prominent, and in others, they were very natural. I asked Tom about the use of colored contact lenses and found out there were none. I didn't wear contact lenses, he revealed. They changed the color of my eyes to gold digitally, which I'm very thankful for. You connect to actors on screen through their eyes. The problem with colored contact lenses is the pupil is fixed and won't dilate when emotional or in different lighting. Okay, that's something I never knew before, so that's good, which is very disconnecting to the audience. We tested it before filming and it looked very wrong. Digitally changing the eye color only was the best decision the producers made, allowing my eyes to dilate naturally and connect with the audience. Yeah, you know what? If it's gonna benefit the actors, I think you can just rely on VFX, you know, because obviously it impacts the acting, and you want the best acting, conveying the burden of immortality. Every good actor puts something of themselves into their part, and Tom Sharp is no exception. I asked him about his own contribution to the character, and he told me I'd constantly look for clues in the script and ask questions. For example, in episode 3 of Fatherless Child, Merlin narrates, "They say Merlin is mad, and the future and the past unknown to him." I love listening to that part in the trailer. Um, I didn't want to simply play him crazy. I wanted him I wanted to know how mad. After all the events and tragedies he has lived through, being abducted as a child, the murder of his loved ones, killing 500 men, his constant visions, and how he stares into the fire, zoned out like a soldier returning from war. To me, his madness is PTSD. That was the biggest puzzle piece and gave me a foundation to build upon and make this mysterious figure relatable to the audience. Tom explains, plus he's burdened with immortality and incredible loneliness, as he will outlive everyone, including loved ones. Damn, that is really sad. So he keeps everyone at a safe distance. I let the filmmakers deal with the magical elements while I focus purely on his humanity. He's not happy go lucky, he's stoic. But when you threaten the ones he cares for, he snaps, and when he's around loved ones, he softens again. For his voice, his immortality and power come into play. He has all the time in the world, so his voice glides. He doesn't need to bark. I love that. Okay, so living out. Okay, this is a long article. Like how long? Okay, we're halfway. No, not even halfway. We're getting there. Um, do I have to read the full thing? You know what? I am going to. I guess I'm going to cut it over there. Not to be rude or anything, but I feel like you can find the rest on the article because my voice is going to go away very soon. And I'm going to continue reading this because I'm interested to know a bit about him because we haven't heard a lot about Tom Sharp when it comes to these interviews. So this is a blessing. I would like to read it. And I'll leave a link in the description so you can read it too. No, I'm not being paid to show for this article. I think this is a necessary article. And thank God giant freaking robots interviewed him. Anyways, bye bye.